Hello everyone and welcome to Rajputjainandassociates. In this video, we will discuss about the provision of TDS on professional and technical service fees. So let us begin our video. According to section 194J, TDS is required to be deducted in respect of charges for technical or professional services. It is applicable on payment of any sum by way of fee for professional services, royalty, remuneration or fees or commission paid to directors, fee for technical services or any non-compete fee. Now, for the TDS to be deducted, the threshold limit for each of the above payment except for the payment to the director stand at Rs 30,000. This means that no TDS shall be deducted if the amount paid or payable during a particular financial year does not exceed Rs 30,000. One thing to note here is that in case of payment made to directors, TDS is required to be deducted irrespective of the amount of payment. Now we will discuss about the rate of tax deducted at source under section 194J. So the rate of TDS deduction under section 194J is in case the payee is engaged only in the business of the operation of the call center, then the rate of TDS would be 2%. In case the payee is involved in any other business operation or profession comes under the scope of 194J, then the rate of TDS is 10%. However, if the PAN is not furnished by the payee, then the rate of TDS shall be 20%. So, the rate of TDS is 10%, however, the rate of TDS be 2% in some cases like the royalty, where such royalty is in the nature of consideration for sale, distribution or exhibition of cinematographic films, or the fees for technical services, and in case of a payee engaged only in the business of operation of a call center. Thus, it can be concluded that the rate of TDS of 10% in case of fees paid for professional services, while the same is 2% in case of fees for technical services. Now, it is important to know the meaning of professional and technical services. The fee for technical services means any consideration for rendering of any of the services like technical services, managerial services, provision of services of technical or any other personnel, consultancy services, etc. However, the same shall exclude certain amounts like the consideration that is chargeable under the head salaries, or where the consideration relates to any assembly, construction, mining or similar project. Next comes the meaning of professional services. Professional services means the carrying on the services of interior decoration, legal profession, advertising, medical profession, profession of film artist, profession of authorized representatives, profession of accountancy, technical consultancy, engineering profession, profession of company secretary, architectural profession, profession of information technology, and so on. So, if the services mentioned in the definition of professional services are performed by any professional or partnership firm, including LLPs, in their capacity to pursue a profession, it will be regarded as a professional services and the TDS to be deducted would be of 10%. However, if the services are provided outside of the scope of a profession, such as by a company, a trust, a society, an artificial juridical person or other similar organization, they will fall under the category of fees for technical services and will be subject to TDS at the rate of only 2%. So, because legislation does not make a clear distinction between the two, the same may be read differently based on the circumstances or the situation at hand. For example, services of an architecture, doctor, lawyer, engineer, chartered accountant, etc. are considered to be professional services and liable to TDS deduction at the rate of 10%. However, setting up an enterprise resource planning or ERP system within a business by an IT expert will be considered as technical services and shall be subject to 2% TDS deduction. Now, let's discuss some of the frequently asked questions on the provision of TDS on the professional and technical service fee. Firstly, what is the difference between professional and technical services? Professional services includes the services of doctors, chartered accountants, tax consultancy services, project monitoring services, etc. However, on the other hand, technical services includes computer development software, biotechnical services, geological and scientific services. Next question is TDS applicable on professional services? So as per section 194J, TDS on professional or technical services are provided. According to the rules and regulations as provided under section 194J of the Income Tax Act 1961, a person must deduct their TDS only at the rate of 10% when the certain payments are made to a certain resident as under the capacity of professional services. Next, what comes under the fees for technical services? So, the fee for the technical services have been defined in section 9 itself under clause 7 as any consideration including the lump sum payment for rendering of any technical, managerial or professional services including the services of technical or other personnel has been provided. After that, is TDS applicable on technical services? So from 1st April 2020, the payment of fees for technical services shall be subject to TDS at the rate of 2%. With effect from 1st April 2017, the TDS on payments made to the operators of call centers shall be deducted at a reduced rate of 2%. In case the payee does not furnish his or her PAN number, then the rate of deduction would be at 20%. So the next question is professional tax and TDS the same? So TDS amount is basically like an advance tax. However, professional tax is collected by the state government. Hence, if you work for any organization but practicing your profession, you are paying tax to the state government. Now lastly, how is TDS on professional fees calculated? So TDS is required to be deducted under this section at the rate of 10%. If the recipient of the income does not furnish his PAN to the deductor, then the TDS is required to be deducted at the rate of 20%. One thing to note is that no surcharge, education cess shall be added to the mentioned rate. Also, TDS is required to be deducted on the fees excluding the GST component. So this was all about provision of TDS on professional and technical services fees. For any queries, contact Rajput Jain and Associates. Thank you.